coming season. Our injury report, Jordan Allmiller is day-to-day. He has plantar fascia. He's been struggling through that all off season this summer and also during the fall camp. But we're as healthy as we've ever been. We helped LaRod King out last Saturday. Really more for him to recover, get his legs back underneath him, and we're living in PC Cobble for the same reasons. Those guys had a ton of reps. So we are as healthy as we've ever been around here, and that's key to success in the 2012 season. We still have a lot of work to do. We'll work on Tuesday, Wednesday, which will be 2 Tuesday-type practices for us. Thursday, Friday, we'll actually have 2 Thursday-type practices, a little lighter practices. We must be fresh. That's my job, but our players have to help us also when they have time off of getting off their feet and resting and relaxing. Saturday will be a travel day for us. We'll have a light walk through and then travel up to Louisville, get ready for the game. Questions?
Coaches, as you begin this new season, what's the best thing you like about your team?
I really like the attitude in the locker room. We got a lot more leaders. You guys got a chance to talk to a few of them today. Those guys are doing a really good job. I've been saying from day one when we first got back together is I like the leadership that we have at the top. Well, those guys at the top are starting to bring some other guys up with them, and I think that's key to our success also.
Joker, we haven't seen Maxwell really since the spring game where you guys practiced. What's going to jump off the page when the season opens?
He's been real efficient, in what and how consistent he is in throwing strikes, which is putting the ball in armpits and putting the ball at eye level for receivers. I love the way he operates. Again, he's not going to be a guy that can beat you with his legs. We all know that, but he's a guy that can beat you with his arm. He can beat you with his mind. He's one of those guys that can see a protection, see a blitz, change the protection to pick up the blitz, and then hurt you with it. He's a guy that can sees this. When we don't have enough protectors, he also understands our sight adjust and can get the ball to receivers quickly and allow those guys to make plays. So you'll see a more confident guy also. Obviously last year as a true freshman, everything was new to him. Especially seeing our defense, there's nothing that he hadn't seen. There's nothing that can confuse him that he hasn't seen. So you'll see a more confident, more relaxed Max Smith.
Joker, will that be with a young offensive line and the way Charlie likes to blitz, will that be even more important for Max, recognizing those types of things in this game?
Yeah, and we'll take some of that off of him also with our ability to check with us at the sideline. But what will help Max is what he has seen in practice. Rick's cut from the same cloth, and he likes to bring pressure from all different angles, all different directions, all different down and distance. So similar to what we'll see on Sunday, Max has seen all season.
You didn't mention him on the injury report. Was Josh Clemens out for the game?
Josh Clemens is out this week, and I didn't say it because I told you guys last week. But again, when they went in, he had some loose bodies that they had to clean up, and therefore he'll be out for this game.
Joe, you guys haven't been shy at all about saying what you think you have on the defensive line with PC, Dante, Collins, those guys. With some youth in the secondary, even more important early on this year, and especially this game, for them to set a tone. And if you will be able to stop the run, get some pressure, maybe take some pressure off those back end guys.
It is important that those guys up front do set the tone, set the tempo. That we're able to get pressure, able to stop the run first, and then able to get pressure with just some basic rush, with getting in basic rush lanes, and then sending pressure. And with most of our pressure, we are in man-to-man coverage. We have to be able to understand their pass protections. When we send our blitzes, our nose has to understand sometimes does he cross the center space, being one different protection. If some protections he doesn't have to cross the space. So we have to be really good in understanding our pressure packages so we can take some pressure off the back end. And we have to be able to get home on them. Again, we have to be able to scheme up some of their protections to get home, and also our guys have to understand rush lanes also to get home.
Trevor, can you talk about those number 2 guys you got in the secondary, kind of what you've seen from them in the fall camp and all that you like?
Well, you know, Darren Blaylock is a number 2 guy, is at safety, and he's a guy that's really smart, really physical. He was a guy that we originally penciled in when we signed him to be a Sam Backer, which was the Winston guy, the hybrid guy. But he came in here, he's more athletic than we thought. He's a smart kid, comes from a really good background at Walton High School in Atlanta, or Marietta. So, you know, we moved him to safety. We actually had to do it one day when we had a bunch of safeties out. Again, you come out of the lineup, somebody goes in, and this guy went in and was able to get lined up, was able to come downhill and make plays for us. Therefore, will be the backup. Fred Tiller's another guy. Again, I won't talk about these guys again until they make a play or until they play. But Fred Tiller's a guy that, you know, he's a really smooth athlete. He's long. He looks lean, but he's thicker than he looks. He doesn't look like a 5th-year senior, actually a 6th-year senior Tavard Lemmy. He's a little thicker than even him. So, but he has that same type of athletic ability. So he's a guy that got into our 2D. Dakota Tyler, he was really battling for the starting position with Mikey Benton. I think a lot that hurt him that he just wasn't here in the spring and missed a lot of reps, but he's a guy that's capable of being a starter before the season's over. So excited about getting him back. And J.D. Harmon, you know, he was originally a receiver. Our strength and conditioning coaches saw him this summer. You know, saw his athletic ability. When we got down in numbers at the corner position, you know, the one guy that we thought that could go over there and line up would be JD, and he's done an unbelievable job. He's a real physical guy. He's a real long guy, stronger than most freshmen that come in here in the secondary. Therefore, he'll be one of the backup corners also, and will probably be our first guy to go in our nickel situation. I'm not saying he'll play nickel, but he'll be the 5th defensive back that goes in the game.
Coach, you've been real confident with your running back depth without Josh this week. How confident are you in who steps up?
I'm very confident and comfortable and confident about the running back position. Again, those 2 young guys give us the ability to have some even more depth than we originally thought we'd have before the season. Again, there was 4 guys that have played significant roles since they've been here at the tailback position, and just adding those 2 guys just gives us even more depth.
What does Teddy Bridgewater bring for them? And obviously, you all played him early last year. Stein was the quarterback you knocked him out. He kind of came on, played well in that game, and throughout the rest of the year. What do you see from him? Well,
I mean, he's a guy that played really well for him in the second half against us and made some huge throws. He came out of high school. People was kind of wondering if he could throw the ball well enough to be a big-time quarterback. Well, he can. He threw for 2,100 yards last year, and didn't really get into the game until our game, which was the 3rd game last year. So, he also is a guy that can pull it down and make plays with his feet. And he's been a guy that you don't ever see him. People getting pressure on him because of him not changing protections or not understanding protection. He understands that also. So he's been a really good quarterback for him, and one of the top quarterbacks, not just in their league, but one of the top quarterbacks in the country.
Fields and McCaskill and Aaron Boyd all made that 2 deep. Is that just their senior leadership coming through, or is it you weren't getting enough from those freshmen and sophomores that you were talking about, or can you just talk about those 3 guys?
No, I mean, I don't want those other guys will play, and you worry about those guys getting big-eyed right off the bat, but they'll play, and they'll play a lot. But those 3 guys have done a really good job and deserve to be the guys that that run out there first. I'm really proud of Aaron Boyd. He's done a really good job. Really proud of EJ, who both those guys have we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and now I think the time has come for those two guys to play big roles for us. They've done a really good job of helping the young guys also. And then Gene McCaskill. No, Gene's, it's been 2 years that he's been battling injuries, and I'm really happy that he'll have an opportunity to play this season also. I mean, Gene's a guy that we had really high hopes for, especially after year 2 when we thought he would be our number 3 receiver with Randall and Chris Matthews, and then he hurts his knee, and he really hasn't gotten back to form until this year. He shows a lot of those flashes. He doesn't get a lot of reps, but he doesn't need a lot of reps. Again, he'll practice on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll take off on Wednesday, and then he'll go play the game, which I think that's about all the practice he needs.
Is this the healthiest he's been like since that freshman year? Or?
It is since his sophomore year. Sophomore year is when he hurt his knee. But yes, this is the healthiest he's been.
Joker, you talk about being big-eyed, worrying about guys getting big-eyed in that first game. You got a true freshman punter, it looks like, starting. How worried are you about that with him?
Well, I mean, he's a guy that understands he can handle the pressure. He's a different breed. We've thrown true freshmen out there at that position a lot since we've been here. So he's no different than those guys. I don't think he'll be one of those guys. He's a relaxed guy that's, not has he just played. He's been a punter. He's been an athlete in games. So I feel good about him. He'll do well for us. We need him to be consistent and punting, and then punting in the right direction that we need to.
So you had 20 sacks last year, 4 against Louisville. Danny and Winston obviously are gone. Are you still confident you can get to the quarterback a lot more this year?
Well, our pressure package is the way we have to get to people, and you don't see a lot of people getting pressure on quarterbacks with 4 down anymore. You used to see a lot of 16, 17 sack seasons by one guy. You don't see that a lot. It's usually when you see a lot of sacks, it comes from linebackers, it comes from secondary people. It comes from the corners. You see a lot, and this is one of the things that Louisville likes to do is bring the weak side corner anytime you get into the boundary. They like to bring the corners. So do we, and that's what people do. That's how people get pressure. You don't see people getting pressure with their 4 down front anymore.
Joker, Louisville was picked to win their league. They're ranked in the top 25. Do you like going into this game?
I do. I mean, what a great opportunity for us, and we've played a lot of top 25 teams and come out on top on some, and this is a great opportunity for us to be able to play against the top 25 team in our first game.
Joker, is there anything to the idea of setting a tone with a first game, or is that overrated?
No, I think it's not. I don't think it's overrated. You do have to set the tone. I mean, this is an important game, and it's an important game, and I hear how important it is for us. But I guarantee you, they're saying the same thing up the road also. It's an important game. Everybody's first game is important. I think it's not important down at Alabama or Georgia, wherever. I mean, it's an important game to set the tempo and set the tone for the season. Again, the team that's won this game usually comes out of this thing with momentum, and we need the momentum, and so do they need the momentum. That's why it'll be a great game, regardless of who's favorite, regardless who's in the top 25. It'll be a great football game.
Do you feel better going into this first game than you did this time last year with all those question marks?
No, I felt pretty good last year too, going into the first game. We just didn't execute, didn't make plays that we needed to make last year. But I feel better about our depth at some of the playmaking positions. I thought we had a couple playmakers at the wide receiver. Didn't show last year. I think we have more depth at the playmaking position, I think, this year than we did last year. I feel really good about Max Smith. He's playing at a real high level, getting the ball out of his hands and not taking minor-yardage plays. Those things are important in moving the football. And again, I talked about that 98-yard drive that we had. We didn't have any minor-yardage play, didn't turn the ball over, didn't put the ball on the ground. didn't have any penalties. That's the way we have got to be a clean football team on Sunday.
Last year, you called it out right away. Charlie used a Lou Holtz before this game. I don't sense you doing anything like that this year.
No, I'll make use of Joker Phillips. I'm not going to just do a Holtz.
I think Louisville had, if I remember right, 14.
Hey, we aren't as good as them. You guys write it every day. We're not, right? Is that what Lou would say? I don't know how we're going to beat these guys. I really don't, Joker. It's going to be tough. They got a fullback that looks just like this. I don't know how we're going to stop them. I really don't. And then on Saturday, they got no chance, Joker. I'm telling you. You just execute the plan.
Louisville had 14 tackles for loss, I think, last year. I don't remember many games where teams have had that many against you. What did you maybe see they did in that game? Was that a product of your offensive line was still beat up that early in the season last year, or a combination?
Yeah, it was a combination. I mean, they were penetrating defense up front and got a lot of pressure with the quarterback. I'm not sure how many sacks they had. Maybe
6, maybe.
4, was it? Okay, six sacks, and they did a really good job of penetrating our offensive line and getting in the backfield. The thing we can't do is we can't give up minus yards play. It's hard to call a game. I've tried to do it when you have 2nd and 14 or 3rd and 15. I mean, it's really hard. So the thing we have to do is continue to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. A 0-yard gain is a good play in big games. I'm telling you that. I'd rather play 2nd and 10 than I would 2nd and 15 any day. And I think it's just really hard to start making your calls, because then you get 3rd down and long. You get all those exotic blitzes that everybody's running, including us, that are hard to manage. They really are. They are really hard to manage, especially with the personnel that people are putting in the game. They're putting a lot faster personnel in the game on 3rd and longs, and it just becomes hard to protect it, and it becomes really hard to manage it.
Last year's stat line showed that the offensive totals were basically the same, except for the fact that you weren't able to run the football. What gives you confidence perhaps you may be able to turn that?
Well, if you look at those guys, and I looked at all the stats on those guys, one thing they do is they don't allow you to run the football. Okay, again, it gets you into those 3rd and longs, and then here comes everything. It's everything. I mean, you name it, they got it. So if you can't run the ball and get yourself into a manageable 3rd down, which is we like to be about 3rd and 4. Now 3rd and 4, what do you defend? You defend the run, you defend the pass. You got to defend both. But you get 3rd and 4 plus. I mean, now it becomes you probably have to throw the football to try to make that, or you get booed. You don't. So the thing that we have to do is keep ourselves in manageable 3rd. And we had a 3rd down scrimmage, and it was a great teaching moment for us. And our defense was 50%. And our offense, it was 3rd and shorts, and our offense came off because they won the last 2, thinking that they was feeling pretty good about themselves. And 3rd and shorts, you better be around 90, 95% 3rd and shorts, and so we got to get ourselves in those type of manageable 3rd down so we can be 90-something%, which then allows you, where were we last year, right? 30%, 28, 30% 3rd down. I mean, I can tell you this, we did not have a lot of 3rd and shorts because, otherwise, we would have been around, we've been good around here, about 48%. Okay, we've had a lot of 3rd and shorts and made those, and was at 90 to 95% on 3rd down. So the thing we have to do is run the ball efficient on 1st and 2nd down. Sometimes we don't want to always be running the ball on 1st and 2nd down, but we have to be able to run the ball well enough to get ourselves into some manageable 3rd downs.
Joker, the team that has run for more yardage, I believe, has won every game in this series, and I know that's always important in football, period. Is there a reason it's more important in this particular series? Because maybe the way the game is played, or you guys call it, or what?
Well, I mean, it definitely helps to in time of possession. It helps keep your defense off the field and keeping those guys fresh. It's an attitude also. When you run the ball, at people, those sometimes, when we run the ball, when they run the ball, we run attitude plays. I mean, it's downhill, stop me if you can. And people are coming right at each other. So I think that sets the tone, and we want to run the ball, okay? And sometimes running the ball might be a little flare screen behind the line of scrimmage, They don't go on the stats as a run, but it is a run. It's a toss sweep, Same with bubble screen. Those are toss sweeps for us, and we got to be able to. Coach Squashing has brought a term here to us called Team 4. If our receiver gets ball out in the flat, we got to get 4 yards. Get the team 4 yards. Okay. I've never heard it said like that, but it's been something that if you mention it to our players, they understand what it means. Get the team 4 yards. Okay, and then let's line up when we throw in flares or when we throw in, the bubble screens, and then whatever comes after 4 yards, it's a bonus.
So when did you kind of start noticing that Tyler was making a big move to that linebacker spot during camp? What do you like?
Well, he started making a move when Malcolm started screwing up. And Malcolm started, couldn't get lined up, missed some checks. But Malcolm's closed the gap. That's a day-to-day competition. I mean, we listed Browsey because we had to. We probably should have said or. Because Malcolm is making a push to start on Sunday. I think a lot. Again, all these guys are competitive. Okay? Everybody wants to start, and sometimes you get people's attention by moving them down. And I think we got Malcolm's attention. He's put more time into this thing and working harder and concentrating more. And I think he's definitely made a push to be the starter on Sunday also.
With that in mind, should we read anything to DeMarco Robinson not being listed as a starter?
Well, I mean, I think no, I wouldn't read anything into that. No. DeMarco Robinson will be. I mean, I'm not going to say tell you guys how he's made a play every day and he's not, giving the opportunities. He will play a lot. Again, we have to make somebody the starter, and those other guys we think deserve to start in the opening game.
You were frustrated by the lack of X plays, as you called them last season.
Mm-hmm.
Where are those gonna come from this season anyway?
Well, we got to take shots also. We got to take more shots at calling plays, and we also, I think our protection schemes will allow us to protect long enough now that we can get the ball down the field. We see the blitzes protected and get them stretched the field a little bit. We were not a team that could stretch the field down the field last year. We feel like this year we had to focus a little bit more on that. Marco's really key in that. He's a guy that's a really fast guy. He's got great leaping ability. Saturday he leaped over a receiver, over a defensive back, and took one about 70. Again, every scrimmage that we've played, he's made some type of play like that, and we got to give him opportunities. So you'll see DeMarco Robinson.
So you started last year, or 2 years ago, at Louisville with an X play, going deep to the rod.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more comfortable now in maybe calling a play like that? If not on the first play of the game, you're not going to tell us.
Well, we called some plays like that last year that didn't always work out as X plays. We didn't get behind them. Sometimes had to drop them off. We want to stretch the field. We got to stretch. Got to get people off of us. And I'm saying we'll do it the first play, but we got to do it a lot throughout the game.
Folks, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.